Guys, so we're back with another Model 3 video, just like how the updates have been coming every 3 weeks on the Model 3. And this year there is quite a bit that is changed in Model 3, and more just kind of quite a bit that's changed in Tesla as a company. So I like to go through it with the configurator because this gives it a good layout for each section of the car that has changed. So let's dive right in. So right here on the landing page, there isn't really much that's changed. It's just kind of general information about the cost, and we're still waiting on this base $35,000 vehicle. Hopefully it comes out soon, but we know with like Tesla and how they say that it's going to come here and then it comes a year later, so we really don't know, but we can just hope that it comes out soon. Anyways, let's get right in. So here on the main page, basically the first page, which has the paint and the wheels, there isn't really much different. The exterior of the Model 3 has stayed pretty much the same since the last video. However, there has been one pretty good update, which is that the panel gaps in a Model 3, I'm not sure if you guys had heard, but the panel gaps were absolutely horrible, and they're still not that great because I mean, it's kind of just a given fact that Tesla's they have panel gaps, and I mean that'll come as the company matures. But basically, Elon Musk, he said that the panel gaps in the Model 3, they have improved by 40%. So that's a significant improvement, and hopefully we can see even more, and then it'll be just like pretty much any other luxury car with not as many panel gaps. Like that's like all these gaps over here, and hopefully it does get even better. But this is a really good step in the right direction. But anyways, other than this, let's go on to the next page. Now, battery and drivetrain. So there hasn't been anything, really in the statistics here of the range, your top speed, and your 0 to 60. However, there has been news about a Model 3 doing a drag race and even taking laps around a track. And in the drag race, it set a new quarter-mile record. I'm not sure. I think that must have been like a new Model 3 record. So it could be that Tesla, they have updated the motors somehow for the Model 3 to make it better than the earlier production. So hopefully, I mean, it doesn't really change the statistic, but I'm not really sure. Probably Tesla's just underestimating the statistic here. But that was it. And then also on the track, the Model 3, the driver was saying that corners incredibly well. The driver said that he hasn't seen a car of this price range that corners as well. So that's pretty amazing how the Model 3, a $35,000 car, you can take it to a track and still have fun with it. So that's really great. I mean, but in the previous update, I did mention how a different owner, he took it to a track and he was complaining about how the brakes weren't all that great on the track. And I mean, that's given because it is a everyday car and it's not meant to have brakes for the track. But basically, if you want to take your Model 3 to a track, you just change out the brakes for maybe some carbon ceramics or something, and you take it to a track. I mean, it's got a perfect suspension, it's got decent range, so you'll be able to do a few laps and still have fun with the car. So that's great. But let's get into the interior. Now over here, there has been some interesting developments. So if we veer off of Model 3 for a second, talk about Model S and Model X. Tesla silently updated their configurator. I believe it was a couple days ago, where they changed out some of the trim options. So I believe that they got rid of one of their lighter trims. I'm not completely sure. But basically, they've changed out trim options to add more options, something that the customers have been wanting to see. And Elon Musk, he was tweeting about the Model 3's white interior, which we have spotted on the road. It looks amazing. But he was tweeting that the Model 3 white interior is coming, I think, mid this year or late this year. So when that comes, that's going to be really exciting because right now all we have is the black interior, as you see, right here. But hopefully we can see the white interior coming within the next couple months. And the white interior just looks absolutely gorgeous in any Tesla vehicle. And especially in a vehicle like this, white, a brighter color, it makes the car feel larger in a way. So I'm really looking forward to that because that's going to just completely change the whole look and feel of the inside of the Model 3. But moving on from the interior, let's go on to Autopilot. Now, Autopilot, I'm sure a lot of you guys know about Autopilot, and if you don't, I'll give a brief description. So, Autopilot, it's basically it's a way for the car to keep itself within its lane. It'll steer, it'll maintain speed based off of the car in front, and it's able to change lanes. Now, there are other Autopilot features, such as it'll automatically park. It can do both perpendicular and parallel parking. The autopilot functionality also allows for summon. So if your car is in a tight spot or if you want to get it into a tight spot, you can get out of the car and push a button on the app and it'll basically pull in and out of a spot or pretty much anywhere. It can go forward and back, and it even senses for obstacles. It even steers to avoid obstacles. So that's some really cool functionality that Autopilot offers. But Autopilot has been getting its fair share of kind of disputes, and there's been quite a decent amount lately because Autopilot, it hasn't been able to detect certain obstacles, and it's made mistakes, even resulted in crashes, and that too fatal crashes, unfortunately. So I wanted to give an update on the accident that happened about a month ago or so. That happened in Mountain View by the 85 and 101. So what happened was that Autopilot, it wasn't able to see like the lane divider and it went straight into a wall. So I live near this location where the accident happened. So I actually went and checked it out. And here's what I saw. So how it is that there's two lanes. One of them keeps on going onto 85, and I believe the other lane, it goes onto 101. Now these two, so it's originally one lane, and it splits like a V. So one lane goes off to the left and one goes off to the right. And in that kind of gap area where the two lanes split, there's a good amount of room there, and then there is a wall. Now, like, one of those divider walls, and there's also supposed to be a barrier in front of it, but that barrier was collapsed at the time of the crash because a Prius crashed into it, and whoever was supposed to fix that barrier, for some reason, they were lazy, they didn't get that done. That was a huge mistake. But anyways, going back to the accident. So, I originally thought that this probably happened because the lanes weren't clearly marked, so Autopilot wasn't able to see the lanes, and for that reason, it went straight in. But the lanes are actually very clearly marked, so Autopilot should have been able to see that. So I'm not really sure what happened there. But I have taken that on Autopilot, and so if you go off to the left, which goes on to 85, then Autopilot takes that just fine. If you go to the right, however, I haven't tried that, but I've seen videos of other people trying that, and every single time, Autopilot has failed that. And I think that that's just a big issue with Autopilot. I'm sure that Tesla, they must have fixed it, or if they haven't yet, they must definitely be working on that, because that's a big deal, and hopefully Tesla, they can get that Autopilot bug fixed, because there are going to be things like this where when they want to try to get to this full self-driving capability, like, I mean, those cannot be issues because the car is supposed to drive on its own without driver intervention. For this accident, Tesla said that the driver should have intervened. And yes, that passes today. That's a viable excuse, but in the future, that's not going to be. So I'm just really hoping that Tesla, they're able to get their stuff together and they're able to fix this incident. Anyways, though, if we go on to payment, pretty much this is the same exact page that we know. and there aren't really any changes. The federal tax credit is still here, which means that Tesla hasn't sold 200,000 cars yet. And since I am in California, there's a $2,500 California EV rebate. But that's pretty much it. The Model 3, it's had quite a lot of updates in the last 3 weeks, and there's definitely going to be more. So stay tuned for the next video in another 3 weeks, and thanks for watching, guys. If you did like it, the video, give it a like, and if you did enjoy it and you want to see the next videos, hit the subscribe button. We have new videos every Friday.